It's what I call qualitatively dismissed without dismissing. What do I mean by that? So, you know what? Let me put this in 2000 days. So I know this is in 2023. This is not dismissed. Next time that I see, oh wow, well I added 2000 days. This already had an interval, but you get the point. It's, oh wow, that's such a huge interval, right? So when I see this, or if I do it manually, that no, I want the interval to be precisely 2000 days, because this is what is left, the remaining, not the absolute. Keep in mind here it says in days. If I go to Ctrl-Shift-P, the parameters window, it is in whatever. It groups days, then months, and then years. If I put the interval as 2000 here, 2038. No, I don't want. What? 2001? No, I want this. So what I do is I log the repetition, and the next interval will be in 2000 days. Hey, maximum interval is 1825. Okay. Then I know, by convention, that this is manual. Not necessarily, right? It could be that just I have a topic that gets increased, and I have this interval. I can have false positives, but it's so unlikely that I can simplify, and once I have this value, 1825, I know this is a non-dismissed item. It's like saying the Undead, if you play games, that you have living skeletons in the role-playing games and all of that. They are the undead, right? They're not alive, they are undead. What? It's the same thing. It's an undismissed. If it's undismissed, means it's memorized. Yes, but with this intention. That means that I don't want this to appear in my repetitions. How I can guarantee that? With this. Because it's so far into the future that I won't see it in many years. And not only that, since I have created the interval so long, as a consequence, the priority also changes. So long story short, I'm not going to see this unless it's from a subset or from a search and I get hits. Because I will need years to make this outstanding, and even if it becomes outstanding, the priority is super low. So I will have to go through my entire outstanding queue and then I see this item. And then I can know that. How I can have this category of undismissed topics? Easy. I go to the view, filter, and I want intervals that are exactly 1825. And in this backup, it will be the last one, the only one. I have another one. Okay. So in this case, I have one item that precisely. Oh, I have been so lucky. So lucky. So this is an example of a false positive. That it just happened that naturally I had this interval. But I only do this usually for topics. I could do this for items as well if you want. But I will have very few false positives. And also, I can also know that. Why? Because if I have set this interval manually, that is very far into the future, what I have done is modifying the priority. So if the priority is 64, I know that at the very least, the prior interval was quite high already. Because I have set 1800. But if the previous one was 1000, it's not that much of an increase that if the last one was just 50 days. The U factor is massive. And that's what I can also do, the U factor. U factor will be massive, not in this case. Why? Because it's the first repetition, so it's only one. But it's also like a redundant or a different way that I can search for the same thing. Or do the filter, F8, and filter those by the U factor. It's another way to do it. And that is my convention when I don't want to have this. Because then I don't know. If I see this, if I only have 4, okay, I can memorize this by heart. But if I have a few thousand, I do know that this is just dismissed. Or I wanted to keep that or whatever. If my intention, no, I dismiss it just because I want this from later on. But I want to get hits on the search. I will just do and set a huge interval instead, so it doesn't appear. But it's not dismissed. Therefore, if it's dismissed, I know I applied done. There's no alternative. There's no other situation possible. It's either applied done or nothing. If it's what I will dismiss it, I will know that. I can filter that by the interval that I set the maximum. Which, by the way, doesn't have to be the maximum. You can set 1111 or 1000 round. So it's very easy to filter those.